All right, running backs. Rob's Roundtable. Last video here. Mostly going to focus on Bijan Robinson, who is a generational player. We're talking about a couple other guys we like. What do you guys love about Bijan? Where do you think he should go?
I think he's the perfect combination of speed, size, and power. You're struggling, if you watch the wide receiver pod, we're struggling to find guys that fit the NFL size profile, right? The ones that are going to fit the mold we need. Robinson does that. He's 5'11", tall enough, 215, ran a 4.46 is what I had written down. The one thing that I think is underrated with him, he's great at picking up blitzes. The dude is not afraid to throw a chip block at someone, right? Like, that's total package shit. You don't see run blocking very much out of running backs coming out of college. It's something they tend to have to develop. Some running backs never get there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the difference maker for me. Just total package, and then the run blocking's already there. You don't have to coach that
He's
up.
slippery, man. He is a slippery running back.
You ever play this game? You grease the watermelon up, you throw it in the pool, everybody goes crazy trying to grab it. They can't grab it. Grease watermelon! Here it comes! Try to grab it!
Oh, no!
Come on.
And I see a lot of Alvin Kamara in his game. And he's about the same size. Like, people want to knock his pass catching. Man, he just wasn't asked to do it. Whenever I see him catching a pass, his eyes are upfield, and he's catching it here. Love that shit, man.
There's a few where he let him get into his body, though.
Yeah. What do you think about his pass catching?
I mean, he like you said, in the Big 12, it's all downfield stuff, right? So you don't really need the dump offs to the running back. I agree. He's very similar in size to Alvin Kamara, but I think the team that is going to take him is going to use him more like a traditional bruiser back than they are a pass catching third down specialist kind of back, because of the power and because of the size and the strength that he's got. He overshadowed another great prospect in this draft in Roschon Johnson, right? So this guy, we've thrown around generational, can't miss. I mean, this is as close to a can't miss prospect as you have in the NFL. The big question is, where does he go? Because everybody that is there right now in the top 10, probably, I mean, maybe Atlanta at 8. I could see him fall into Atlanta at 8. I don't think that they think they've got the answer there, running back, yet.
I mean, I see him, the other one, a few mocks are slipping down to Dallas. I don't know if he makes it that far, but him and Pollard could be a good compliment.
See, I think that'd be devastating for both of them.
It's just crazy because if you think of the NFL and the environment we're in right now, right? You have the Chargers being like, we don't want Eckler anymore. You have the Vikings not wanting Dalvin Cook anymore. And the Giants not paying Saquon Barkley. Like, Saquon Barkley, granted, he's got some miles, got some injuries. He's 26 years old.
Yeah.
That guy is one of the best running back prospect we've ever seen.
But because of the Eckler thing, because of whoever, like, are they the teams that look to draft Robinson and let their higher price veteran move on?
Okay, the Chiefs, you know who they had last year in their stretch run? I know they drafted CEH, that little pipsqueak. He's pretty much on the Willy Wonka. He's one of those. They had McKinnon, who had multiple knee injuries, that was just left to the wayside, almost practice squad guy. And they had, who's the other guy?
Isaiah Pacheco.
7th round pick. Granted, he was super athletic. So they had a 7th round pick and a practice squad guy, and they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I know it's KC's system, so it's different. But, like, you don't need running backs, right? And, like, unless you get Adrian Peterson, which actually I think we all believe.
I mean, who are the difference makers in the NFL right now? Dalvin Cook, right? Nick Chubb, McCaffrey.
Yeah,
certainly McCaffrey.
There's like 5.
Yeah,
you know. But they are until they aren't, right? And
Zeke was until he wasn't.
And this guy is a guarantee, though, in my mind.
So
4 years, 5 years.
Does Philly go after this to replace
Now,
Sanders?
that's the spot, because Philly, they're going to utilize him. They're right there. And I like Gainwell. You know, Boston Scott will be playing on Philly until 2029.
Here's a little betting tip for you. When the Phillies or when the Eagles play the Giants, bet on Boston Scott to score a touchdown.
Always.
His odds are like plus 900, plus I don't know what it is, but
he's
the giant killer.
It's crazy. So it's just so crazy that in terms of the running backs, like, where they're valued right now. And but
it's a different NFL. It's a different NFL. I mean, everybody is working with multiple backs, specialists,
1B, or Thunder and Lightning, whatever their combo is.
Yeah.
Right?
But this guy has some of the best feet I've ever seen.
I'm sorry, but you have the most beautiful feet.
Like, the way he hits the hole, and, like, it's not just the Cedric Benson, right? Remember how Cedric Benson always had the choppy feet when he didn't need to? This guy, if he needs to hit the hole, he hits the hole. If he needs to find the cutback lane, he finds the cutback lane. If he needs to juke somebody, he's got it all. And I just haven't seen a prospect like this in quite a bit of years. So it's just, but also like back in the day, he'd be the number 1 pick or like top 3.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to miss, but he might only play 5 years, at least at this level.
Yeah, but today's NFL, I don't see him going in the top 10 personally.
No, it's gonna be a fine forever. And for fantasy, man, I'm gonna be all about him because we saw what Breece Hall did in a timeshare, and I loved Breece Hall coming out.
Yeah.
He might have been a little, I wouldn't say a better power back, but like he was more of a one-cut guy. Where this guy is not a one-cut guy. The Niners would hate him because he's gonna find the lane and run. And we saw what Breece Hall did. He killed it, man. He had a 60-yard touchdown like 3 of his last 4 games.
Yeah, he's certainly coming in his own.
This guy's better than Breece Hall. So if that's the case, then you see why you should draft him. All right, who do you got for any other like later guys? Obviously, talk about Gibbs for a little bit. Gibbs is the number 2 guy. He's 200 pounds only. I personally have a comp as Jamal Charles to him. And I love Jamal Charles, right?
Smaller back.
That
right?
could handle
Pass catcher.
the workload. Not a 20-carry workload, but, 16, 17 touches, which is what I think he is.
I had him at Dalvin Cook. It was my comp for him. I read Kamara was a comp. Someone else said he plays like a faster Debo. And I'm like, so he's more of a receiver than a running back. Like, if you're going to tell me that. But at 5'9", I mean, that's a little short.
He's got a nose for the end zone.
He does. He's a great pass catcher, electric speed. He was clocked at over 22 miles an hour. Ran 4.3 something 40.
Do you think he's an every down back?
No.
That's the question.
No.
But that's why I said Jamal Charles, because he wasn't like a traditional every down back, but Jamal Charles wasn't also getting 6 carries. He was getting
Jamal Charles
14,
was a fantasy
but
gold mine.
But he was also small.
I mean, Andy Reid's system was designed specifically for pass-catching running back and give him 12, 14 carries.
And same with LaShawn McCoy.
It's the start-stop speed
200-pound
with Jamal
guys.
Charles, though. Like, that was the difference maker with Charles, is start-stop, and that's exactly what you see with Gibbs. So I think that's a great comp with him.
So do you both have him as your number 2 guy, like, hands down?
I think so, because there's a lot of great backs in this, but there's only one standout guy in Bijan Robinson.
And he can still be a difference maker on your team. And even if it's more the gadget plays, the end arounds, or potentially even in the return game, he's going to contribute.
Do you guys have him way ahead of James Cook in terms of what Cook was last year? Right, because James Cook had the pedigree in terms of his brother being Dalvin.
No, coming out, like I have him closer to Cook than what
than Dalvin.
Yeah, but my comp was Dalvin because he runs better than what I think James did. But James was an athlete, the elusive guy, the pass catcher.
Do you think James Cook ever has a chance to be Dalvin Cook?
No.
Okay.
James Cook is much more of a specialist. He's a pass catching. I'm not quite sure what the Bills are doing with their running back rotation. But yeah, Dalvin Cook is a beautiful balance of running back and pass catching back, right? So I don't think that James Cook, and frankly, we didn't even hear anything about James Cook until halfway through the season, not this past year.
Because he fumbled on his first snap.
No, I don't mean the NFL. I don't mean the NFL. When he was at Georgia, we didn't even hear about him until halfway through the season.
Yeah.
He's just the production's not there. I just don't think he.
So you think it was a bad pick?
I don't think it was a bad pick per se. I think it was a bad pick for the Bills because I don't think the Bills know what they want to do at running back.
No, you don't need a dynamic player. That you need That's why I love Damian Harris going there. We talked about that last time. But
no, that's a good. I think that's a good.
And Gibbs is what the. Sorry, brain fart here. Given his size, it's one of those, like you said, he's not going to be the bell cow back, but he's going to be a difference maker, man.
Right. So can he handle an Alvin Kamara workload early on? The 14 carries, 6 catches.
Like,
can
I
you do
see
that?
a world where he puts a little more meat on his bones.
Can he get 20 touches?
Young,
because it's going to be 6 catches, right, or 5 catches.
The thing is, Alvin Kamara's role was with Sean Payton as his head coach. That role does not exist anymore. The way that the Saints used Alvin Kamara last year was criminal, and that was absolutely a disgrace because running him up the gut and then taking him out on the 5-yard line and not getting him dumped down, like it just was.
He
insane.
needs premium touches.
So
right? Goal line.
I don't think
catches.
that exists other than in Denver. So I'm kind of excited about what Javonte Williams looks like, not this year, next year after his injury, he recovers, etc. But that role doesn't really exist anymore.
What if Gibbs ends up on Denver?
They can't take him. They can't. They signed Samaje Perine. They didn't want to do that.
But what if I'm saying?
So where's your preferred landing spot? What do you think? Do you have one?
If you're telling me he fits that Sean Payton role so well, like that'd be.
Do you want me to tell you mine?
Sure.
Chargers.
Yeah.
If Austin Eckler moves on?
Yeah, they gotta trade him. Austin Eckler is, I mean, again, I went all in on this last year that he was terrible. I still think Austin Eckler is not a good player anymore. Like, he's not fast.
It's a hot take.
He's savvy. He's a coach's guy. But, like, now, especially all the wear he's had on his tires, like, I know he's like a workout phenom.
He's another guy who's got a
They got to get rid of him 1 year early opposed to 1 year late, okay? If you can get a 4th-round pick for Austin Eckler and then draft Gibbs in the 1st round, you're upgrading. Would you agree? Upgrade over Austin Eckler at this point of his career?
Yeah, I mean, it's Austin Eckler had an amazing season last year.
Understanding he has, because you want to know why he has fucking 9 catches a game. Fantasy and real life are 2 different things. How do the Chargers do in real life?
Hey, trust me, that a lot of that goes back to the coaching staff.
I'm still on this Eckler hate. I mean,
you got to watch some of the previous pods.
Okay. Yeah, I was all about
that. You'll see how deep that hate
I'm just
goes.
saying, like, I feel like Gibbs has a lot more juice, and he's a great pass catcher.
Gibbs goes in the 1st round?
No. I think he goes in the late 1st, early 2nd.
Early 2nd.
Yeah.
I think Bijan's the only running back drafted in the 1st round.
So you trade Eckler, you move back from whatever you have 21 or whatever it is, and then you take him. And you get a couple 3rd rounders, you fill in the rest of your team.
It's just the way the NFL is nowadays, right? They don't prioritize running backs, and they're mostly fungible. It's just the way it is.
All right, 3rd guy. Do we all have
Devin Achane?
Zach
Charbonnet?
I have Charbonnet's 3. You mentioned him earlier.
Sounds like a wine.
Sounds like a loud-ass fucking train. So the white wine from UCLA.
White wine from UCLA, Chardonnay. What do you think? Is he your number 3? He's my number 3.
Yep, he's my number 3. 6 foot, 214, ran a 4.5.
Yep.
Again, a good combo, size, strength, and speed. I feel like he has really good vision and patience. He'll fight for extra yards. He's reliable in short yardage situations,
good hands,
which I can appreciate. He's not going to blow you away at anything. He just feels safe. A good player that you can rely on.
And Austin Eckler.
He loses a little momentum when changing direction. Not super quick. And doesn't try to make tacklers miss, which is going to come back to bite him in the pros, I think, if he doesn't adjust his running style a little bit. And that was the Michael Turner I mentioned earlier, A.J. Dillon. Like, that's some of the guys that he reminds me of.
Yeah, what do you got?
UCLA system, right? So it works really, really well for a guy who can catch the ball, and he can catch the ball. He's got good hands, good vision. I like the patience. Good comp there with Michael Turner. I think that he's going to be a solid contributor in the NFL. It depends on his landing spot, though. If he gets touches, I think he could be a really great asset down the stretch for some team. It just really depends on where he lands.
Yeah, I like him to Matt Forte. I mean, Matt Forte was also, I think, a 3rd-round pick out of Tulane. Mm-hmm. And Matt Forte had a hell of a career.
Same size, same body type, same pass catching ability.
Hard runner, willing to go through guys.
Yeah, big time.
So you have
one guy just to keep an eye on, Zach Evans from Ole Miss. Now, he did get overshadowed by a freshman, Quinshon Judkins, this year. So there is some concern about his production. But prior to that, really great running back. The biggest concern for him is kind of that pass blocking. He does have some issues there. Outside of that, great patience, great vision, able to see the hole, one-cut kind of runner. Much better in zone blocking than he is with another style. But I think that he could be a really great option for a team that's looking for a change of pace back. So just somebody to keep an eye on, a 3rd-round pick. I think that he's going to be a sleeper pick, so to speak. Ole Miss running back, Zach Evans.
All right. You got an honorable mention?
4 honorable mention, whatever you want to call it, was A-Chain. Out of Texas A&M.
Yeah.
The guy's exciting. Great burst. Good long speed. He's elusive. He's quick. I think he breaks into the NFL as a returner and a change of pace guy, maybe some gadget plays. I don't know how much you're going to lean on him. He does play bigger than his size, but his cuts are disgusting. I mean, dude cuts on a dime. He's an accomplished sprinter, Olympic speed. I want to say like in the 10s for 100 meters, in the 20s for 200 meters. I mean, he absolutely has that speed. It's just the size. 5'8", 188, does it translate? I have Downey ran a 4.3, 240. And again, maybe it's a product of his speed and knowing he's the fastest guy typically on the field, which may not be the case coming into the pros. Guys are going to take angles and shut you down, but he bounces way too much to the outside. And he's always looking for the big play, and I like that, but at a certain point, you got to take what the game gives you.
Isn't he a converted wide receiver?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good question.
I think I'm going to look that up, but I think he was, and that speed is a converted wide receiver.
All right, my honorable mention, it's not like he's up at 4 for me, is Chase Brown from Illinois. He's at 17. So, I mean, this guy might go in the fucking 6th round. Man, he ran a 4.4, 340. He is 5'10", 210, so he's got that whole BMI thing. He can handle the workload. His combine, dude, 98% vertical, 40-inch vertical. His broad broad jump 93%. His bench press 25 reps. The guy's a beast, man. And you talk about the 5th, 6th round. I don't know, man. I feel like he could be a starter somewhere, and he'd come in not being it, but a couple injuries happen, and you hear about him going forward.
Translates, absolutely.
Yeah,
just an incredible season for him last year. I don't think he had a game under 100 yards.
So, like, how is he this far down?
Illinois. There's a certain stigma about Illinois in the
draft. Is he white?
I don't know. I don't know how big he is.
Is he a Jared Jeter, or is he? I'm saying white. Like,
oh,
I think
white.
He's white. Yeah, I think he's white. So I think that's probably why.
I thought you said light. I'm like,
no. Is he white? Like, I'm telling you, that comes into a factor, right? Like when you see the skin color of a running back.
He's a Caucasian.
There you go.
Individual.
There you go. That's why he's a 17, man.
Okay.
If his name was something different, Jamal Williams or something, he'd be drafted higher. I'm telling you.
They can't all be Christian McCaffreys.
No, and that's a one-off. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not even making a joke. I'm being serious. Like, why is he at 17? You said production. I said all these measurables. And he's 23 years old, I suppose. But, like, who gives a fuck with running backs? You have 5 years anyway. So, Chase Brown, man, I love him. I think he can kill it. So,
yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do in the NFL.
Yeah, get him in a good landing spot. A team that's successful as a second or third guy. You never know. Thrust into a couple weeks, 4-touchdown game.
Just a point of clarification on A-Chain. So he was back up to Isaiah Spiller. He's not the converted wide receiver on that roster. That was Aniyah Smith, who's a converted wide receiver.
Okay.
So that's
all the info from Story, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
you gotta come back, man.
It's a good one.
That was a good time.
Good bounce.
And it's been a complete joy.